What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, and welcome to the first official react using my new setup. So, obviously, most of my reacts, most of any react you'll see on TV is, of course, people reacting to stuff for the first time, like my Doctor Who, my music reviews, everything. It's stuff I've never seen before, never heard before, never listened to before. But I always thought about something. One of the reasons we like watching first reactions like this is because of the joy we get as someone who's experienced something and loved it and enjoyed it, be able to get that sort of new experience again for the first time. But I kind of was thinking, what about the contrast? What about, the people who enjoy watching new things because they like seeing the person who's really into it, be able to express that interest, be able to express it, blah, 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 blah. So basically, yeah, I'm going to be reacting to one of the movies from my childhood. One of the movies I have watched so many times and was so crazy about.
Oh, what have you done to me?
I kind of decided on this one because it's unusual. It's, not a movie that we see out there all the time, so I feel like that works a lot better. So here it is, my childhood movie, one of them, and I'm going to continue doing this. But I'm also still going to do new movies, new TV shows and such, but yeah, I want to start with this. Selznick. Now, of course, if you didn't know, Portrait of Jennie is based off a book. And the book and the movie take very different approaches. And one of the main reasons that approach is so different is because David Selznick was, of course, married to Jennifer Jones. And this whole movie basically strongly reads as an extensive love letter to her.
What is death?
And I love this opening. It is so unusual. It was mind-blowing to me as a kid. This kind of depth and maturity.
Through 100 civilizations, philosophers and scientists have come with answers. But the bewilderment remains, for each human soul must find the secret in its own faith. The tender and haunting legend of the Portrait of Jennie is based on the two ingredients of faith, truth and hope. There is such a portrait that hung in the Metropolitan Museum in New York. And there was such a girl named Jennie who sat for it. So much is true. For the rest, science tells us that nothing ever dies, but only changes. That time itself does not pass, but curves around us. And that the past and the future are together at our side forever. Out of the shadows of knowledge, and out of a painting that hung on a museum wall comes our story, the truth of which lies not on our screen, but in your heart.
So these filming techniques, this is not a painting, this is actual film over the camera. But these filming techniques of turning the scenes into actual paintings is just gorgeous.
Which is worse than anything a winter of poverty can do. It is more like a winter of the mind, the dreadful feeling of the world's indifference.
Mrs. Spinney, the art curator here, played fantastically by, of course, Ethel Barrymore, one of the most brilliant actresses ever. She is one of my favorite characters in this, and I just love the addition of her.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Well,
that's not her.
About one of my pictures, perhaps.
Yes, well, of course, we buy very, very little, almost nothing. Times being what they are. However, let me see what you have.
I didn't say it. My name is Evan Adams.
What are you so defensive about?
I'm not.
I'm Eben Adams. Perhaps it would be better if you weren't. You might eat more. Don't be in such a hurry. Let's see what you've got here.
There's nothing there that'll interest you or your partner.
You're probably right. I'd like to see what interests you. You paint a nice flower.
Thank you.
Do you ever read Robert Browning?
Long time ago.
Do you remember his poem about Andrea del Sarto, the perfect painter? Proportion, anatomy, color. He had everything and nothing. He painted a perfect hand, while Raphael drew a formless claw. But Raphael loved his work. Poor Andy del Sarto. Don't be soft, Matthews. I'm an old maid, and nobody knows more about love than an old maid. What's the matter with you, Adams? You have to learn to care deeply for something. We'll take the flower.
What?
I happen to have a weakness for flowers. He doesn't do them too badly. Give you $12.50 for it. Is that the argument? There's no sale.
There's no argument.
You pay him, Mr. Matthew.
Have you change of $1?
I haven't got a dime.
You'll owe us 50 cents.
If you want more flowers, I've got a carload of them at home.
I was afraid of that. Good day.
You have beautiful eyes. Goodbye.
Oh, dear. I'm afraid that picture isn't worth more than a couple of dollars.
No, but Adams is.
Yes, but we're supposed to be in the business for profit, Miss Finney. I thought.
I bought this for myself.
Oh, it's wonderful what a little compliment can do.
My first in 20 years, Mr. Matthew.
That little smirk.
At last, I had a little money in my pocket. But I think I was a little lightheaded from not having had enough.
So a little aside here, there's a piece of music coming up that is original to this movie. But if you listen very carefully, most of the music in this film is actually the music of Claude Debussy. And this is actually the only Hollywood film he had ever authorized to use his music. Of course, it is rearranged slightly. It has slightly different timing and pace to it to fit with the mood of the movie. But it rings through, and it is one of the most beautiful soundtracks, and I wish there was a proper orchestral release of this soundtrack out there.
To eat. Suddenly, I had the awareness of something extraordinary.
Isn't anybody here with you?
No. Why should there be?
It's getting pretty dark. Oughtn't you go home?
But I don't have to go home yet. Nobody's ready for me. Anyway, you're with me. I'm Jennie.
Jenny? Jenny what?
Jennie Appleton. Father and mother, actors and actresses. They're working down at Hammerstein's Victoria. They do juggling on a rope.
Did you say Hammerstein's?
Uh-huh, why?
Because it was torn down years ago when I was a boy.
You must be thinking of some other place, because I was there yesterday.
Well, now, really,
Now, let me see your pictures, mister.
The
Adam,
filming angles they do here
How
to
do you
make
know they
Jennifer
are
Jones
pictures?
look like a little
Oh, I
girl
just know.
is brilliant.
I wish I liked your pictures, but I don't.
that's what everybody says. That's why I can't sell them.
Maybe you shouldn't paint places. Why don't you paint people instead? Cecily Brown's home is full of pictures of people.
Who's Cecily Brown?
She's my best friend. I go to school every day now, but only in the mornings.
What do you learn?
Well, yesterday we learned about the Kaiser. He's the king of Germany.
He was a long time ago.
You're wrong. Cecily Brown's father's in Germany now, and he sees him all the time.
Well, he was...
He says the Kaiser rides around on a white horse, and he likes to fight. I can fight, too. I can fight Cecily. She's bigger, but I'm stronger. I can fight her good.
I thought you said Cecily Brown was your best friend.
She is. It's fun to have somebody to play with. Don't you have anybody to play with?
No.
I know a song. Would you like to hear it?
So the song is actually in the book with no music or anything.
Where I come from, nobody knows, and where I am going, everything goes.
Who taught you that?
Nobody, it's just a song. Do you know the game I like to play best?
What?
It's a wishing game. I'll tell you what I wish most.
What do you wish?
Well, first you have to close your eyes and turn around 3 times. I wish that you would wait for me to grow up so that we could always be together. But you won't, I guess. Well, I can't talk to you anymore. Goodbye.
Again, the filming angles, just to make her look like a little child, are so brilliant.
You always come in so extremely quiet, I can hardly hear you, Mr. Adams. So thoughtful of my other tenants.
I didn't want to disturb anyone.
Of course not, a fine gentleman like you.
Would $5 do for a while?
It won't do, but I'll take it.
Hope I'll get some more for you soon.
You'd better see that you do.
I don't suppose you'd be interested in another one of my sketches until I...
Oh, no, my bathroom's full of them now. Where would I put another one? In my parlor?
No, I wouldn't expect anything like that.
Bitch.
Painting things? Women?
Women?
Women in the... Mrs. Bunce, we agreed that he was a gentleman. A gentleman just don't paint women in the... Of course not.
Somehow the tune the little girl sang stayed in my mind. And I thought of the last thing she'd said to me about waiting for her to grow up. But people can't wait for other people to grow up. There was something different about that child. I wondered if my pencil could catch it. Pretty late last night. I didn't get to sleep till dawn.
Had your breakfast yet?
Well, no.
How about having some lunch with me?
No, I'm not gonna eat on you guys. You have to work too hard for your money.
Mac is actually one of my favorite characters in the book, and
I saw the picture yesterday.
sadly a lot of his story goes away
Today you're
in the
having lunch
movie.
on me.
It's a great pleasure, Mac. Just come along a minute while I fix up the hack and we'll soon be on our way.
You know, Gus, I can't get you at all. Why should you care if I eat?
Well, maybe I don't like to see people go hungry. Let me put it this way, Mac. I got a lot of respect for a guy that's doing what he's got to do, even if maybe it's killing him. Now, you want to paint pictures. You're going right ahead doing it no matter. Now, taking to wearing scarves?
That isn't mine. I found it. Belongs to a little girl I met in the park.
Pretty big scarf for a little girl.
Funny kid. She said her parents were acrobats at Hammerstein's Victoria.
Yeah, Hammerstein's was torn down years ago.
Of course it was.
That's
She
what I
said
told
she
her.
was there yesterday.
Yeah, that's kids for you. Always dreaming up something. Well, what do you know? Sarah Bernhardt's coming to America for a farewell tour.
Sarah Bernhardt, have you gone crazy?
Well, that's what it says here. Sarah Bernhardt, distinguished French tragedienne, arrives next month.
You see. Well, that is what it says. Say, this paper's dated 1910.
1910? Where'd you pick up an old paper like that?
The little girl in the park had it. Her scarf was wrapped in it. Gus. Read that ad.
Hammerstein's Victoria. Eva Tanguay, the American comedienne. Will Rogers, expert lariat thrower. The Appletons, novelty high wire act. Well, what about it?
It's just what she said.
Jenny Appleton.
She said her name was Jennie Appleton.
As my mother used to say, if you got too little in your stomach, you got too much in your head.
So
I
that's
see.
what's wrong with me. It's not
You think I'm
anxiety.
imagining things. Oh, no, Gus. She was real enough, all right. I saw her. What's more, I can draw her for you.
Hi, Gus. Hi, Mac. How are things? Meet my friend Mac.
Quick aside to say that my tea today is supplied, of course, by Bottoms Up Accessories.
I'm glad to hear
This
you, sir.
fabulous
And you, Gus?
THC-infused
Everything
tea
all
is
right?
the perfect
Sure,
thing
sure, I
before
guess
going
so.
to bed. They also have a
guess
breakfast blend that's
Anything
wonderful for
wrong?
getting a little perk in your step.
No, I guess not.
Not
Is the food
sponsored.
all right?
Although,
Sure.
you guys have my
And what's
address.
great with you? A fella likes a change once in a while. A change from what? Well, it's this room, the joint. It's dark in here, Mac. Dark. Gotta
Dad,
brighten it up. Brighten up the joint, Mac. What would you want me to do? Oh, well, I don't know, Mac. I hadn't got that far. Suppose I could hang a stray picture here and there.
a stray picture.
You know, it's a crying shame you couldn't have a whole scene painted right on the wall. Of course, I know that can't be done, but
Why can't it be done? Didn't you ever hear tell of murals?
Murals.
Pictures painted onto a wall.
Mr. White, Mac, is it possible to paint a picture right on the wall?
Of course it's possible. It's done all the time.
See, you dumb ox.
Big Collins himself, and he leading his men in the battle against the might of England. Just a minute, Gus. Why, man alive, would be the greatest thing that ever hit this town. Who's Alhambra would be the rallying place for every Irish patriot that comes to. Why, man, you wouldn't have standing room at the bar, and it wouldn't cost you a cent. It sounds kind of interesting. Now, here's how I see it. Or should I say how my friend Mac here sees it. It's early dawn on a small hill in Ireland. You've got to make it, Mr. Allen.
Hold on, here comes one of those bad takes. How did this take get it? One.
Yes, I think you have something there, Adam.
Do you know why I like it? Why? There's a quality about the girl that reminds me of long ago. And there ought to be something timeless about a woman. Something eternal. You can see it in all the great portraits of the past. They make you feel you could meet those women anywhere and be inspired by them. Well, then, Mr. Adams, I tell you what I'll do. I'll take that sketch. I'll give you $25 for it, and I don't care what Miss Binny says.
I'm not going to say anything. Now, Adams, you can stop feeling sorry for yourself.
No, things are looking up. Getting 3 meals a day for painting a mural, and now $25. Thank you. For a sketch. A sketch. Well, thank you.
Where are you going now?
Nowhere, anywhere. Where I come from, nobody knows, and where I'm going, anything goes.
What's that?
Oh, it's a song that little girl sang in the park.
Well, if you don't know where you're coming or going, perhaps you'd like a cup of tea.
Oh, don't care if I do.
I think you're like the beau I wanted when I was young. When I was doubting myself.
Not you two.
Even me. Look what it's brought me. Just a frustrated old maid lecturing a frustrated young artist.
Miss Binny, what shall I do?
I think the sketch shows you what you can do. All you need is a little inspiration, any inspiration. That little girl in the park.
Well, guess that does it. How's about you and me taking a twirl on the ice?
Oh, go along with you.
Thanks, Miss Binny.
Hello, Mr. Adams.
Hello, Jenny.
It's fun.
I can't believe it's you.
Why not?
You've grown so much taller.
Well, maybe you didn't see me so good before.
No, I'm sure you've grown.
Of course I have. I'm hurrying. Don't you remember our wish?
Sure I do.
Let's skate. Let's go a little faster. You look so funny.
That feels so funny, too. Oh, by the way, I have something here of yours.
Oh, what a pretty scarf.
It's the parcel on the bench. You said it was yours.
Did I? Well, if I said so, it must be true. I'll tell you what. Why don't you keep it for me until I grow up? Then I'll have one more reason to grow up fast.
All right. I owe you a favor anyway.
You do? Why?
I did a little sketch of you the other day and I sold it.
Oh, I'm glad.
The man who bought it told me how to paint portraits.
Well, I don't think there's any place you can come and see me yet.
Huh? Why?
Oh, it's just the way it is. When will you start my portrait?
Well, whenever your parents will let you. Where are they now?
At Hammerstein's.
Oh, they're still in Hammerstein's, huh?
And they've got wonderful new tricks, way up on a high wire. Sometimes it scares me to watch them. Of course, that's silly. That's why they're so famous. They scare everybody.
I'd like to see them. Then I could ask that permission you to come and sit for me. Why don't you take me down to Hammerstein's to see them?
Oh, yes, do let's go. I can get us in free.
Looking for someone, Adams?
I was just watching the little girl I was talking to you about.
their daughter, Jennie.
Your daughter?
Yes.
Isn't it possible that this child is their granddaughter?
Oh, no. I knew Jennie when this picture was taken. She was a darling little girl with big, sad eyes. She used to come backstage and sit on my lap. I used to give her rock candy.
Do you know where she is now?
No. I lost track of her after her parents were killed that night on the trapeze. That was many years ago.
I was conscious of an unaccustomed atmosphere, as though time were melting with the snow. Were the sobs that I heard part of the illusion?
Jennie, what's the matter with you? What are you crying about?
Father, Mother,
Father, something's happened. They've had an accident.
I knew it would happen.
The wire broke.
I knew it would happen. I was always scared it would happen. And tonight...
Tonight? Oh, Jennie, I know how you feel. I know how much it hurts, but it isn't hurting them. Please try to think of it that way.
But they're dead.
We all die sometime.
I loved them. They loved me.
And you mustn't be too unhappy. They wouldn't want you to be, would they? Would they?
No.
No.
They told me once they said if anything happened to them, I mustn't be unhappy. Because they were doing what they wanted to do. And if anything happened, it would happen to them both at the same time. My aunt is sending me to a convent, and...
Convent? You want to go?
Of course I do. After that, I'll be grown up, don't you understand?
No, Jennie, I don't understand. I wish I did, but I don't understand any of it. Each time I see you, you've changed. You're older. You talk about things that happened, well, that happened long ago.
Did they? Sometimes I kind of think that, too. But maybe that's because I have to find something.
Find what?
I'm not sure. It's the stars. Can't you hear them? Listen to the stars coming out.
So I wanted to wait for the first 3 instances of Jennie showing up to talk about this, but one of the big differences between the movie and the book is that in the book, even though it's not explicit, it is basically a science fiction book. Like, it is made very clear throughout the narrative and such that this is an inadvertent, basic sort of time meld. Like, it is essentially a time travel thing. Jennie somehow is having moments where her timeline coalesces with his timeline briefly. They get to be together, the timelines go back, and she is back in her early 1900s. He's still in the 1930s. And the book essentially ends and confirms this and makes it very clear they are together not because of anything else but intricacies of time. Whereas in the movie, things like Mrs. Spinney not seeing her, there's another instant like this where in the book, other people are very actively there and seeing Jennie. The movie kind of plays it almost as sort of a spiritual ghost story. And like with this bit of dialogue here, which I think wasn't in the book at all, or was like slightly changed, it sort of sounds like Jennie is going a ghost or a spirit of some kind, going through a cycle of trying to find love, companionship, some sort of purpose, or a way to become a memory. And I love the movie and I love its interpretation, but honestly, if I ever did want to see a film like remade or a second version made of it, I would like to see Portrait of Jennie done, but with a movie that more explicitly focuses on it as a time travel saga. First 2 beers free!
you, Mac.
It was a grand idea, grand idea.
Quiet, everybody, quiet. The unveiling's about to take place.
It's a shame that they built up Mac so much in these scenes, but then they cut out some of his later stuff.
Where I knew the mural was worthless. I knew in my heart that I was worthless.
Mood.
Suddenly I felt fear. The world seemed curiously empty and silent. One note would bring it all to life. One note would make an instrument of it.
Jennie.
Evan!
No. It isn't true. It can't be you.
Oh, yes, it is. See? I tried to get here sooner, but I couldn't.
You're beautiful. Grown so.
Well, of course I have. I'm hurrying. I'm in my first year of college at the convent.
Wonderful dress.
Do you like it? It's a Sunday dress. Oh, look, you can see the bridge from here. My friends are taking the veil next Sunday.
There.
It'll be lovely to watch. Will you come and see it with me?
I'd love to, Jennie.
Stay still.
Jennie, hand.
A few of my classmates will be leaving then, too. I hate to have them go.
Jennie, your hand. Jennie, hand.
The use of filters and filming elements to just make this look like art
Evan,
is so
promise you
beautiful.
won't forget me.
So, okay, the convent scene here, I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. The convent scene is where Mac is with them. Mac is the one who drives them out to the convent and spends the day with them. They have a picnic, there is a lot of stuff. And Mac, of course, is very obviously aware of the fact that Jennie is there. That he sees her, he talks to her, and knows she's there. So, this scene, I kind of get why they took Mac out, since the mystery and air of Jennie in this movie is that only Eben ever seems to see her and experience her. But I just love the elements of Mac in this scene, and building off the previous moments, like him worrying about Eben when he's leaving the bar after painting the mural. I feel like it could have had so much better payoff if we at least had this scene or something else with him. But I love this convent scene, though. I might be wrong, but I feel like in the book they actually had the haircutting ceremony described it and painted a gorgeous visual I wish had made it to the movie.
I always feel a little closer to the truth of things in here. As if pretty soon I would understand.
Get your sleeve out of there. They could
How
still...
beautiful the world is, Edmund. The sun goes down in the same lovely sky, just as it did yesterday and will tomorrow.
When is tomorrow, Jennie?
Does it matter? It's always. This
Today
is
was
tomorrow
fun once.
Where I come from, nobody knows, and where I'm going, everything does.
I've heard that somewhere.
Gosh, you have. You sang it to me that first day in the park.
Did I? I'd forgotten.
The wind blows, the sea flows. God knows.
I think he knows, Evan.
What do you think?
Well, Adam, you found what you were looking for.
I've been selling pictures for many years. And in my business, it's always a dream that someday you'll come across shall we say, a great picture. This is, I feel now, a sort of fulfillment of mine.
He means he likes it.
Do you remember my saying there ought to be something eternal about a woman? Something not of the present nor of the past? Well, here you've got it. It's the face of that same little girl. Yet what you've seen in that face is without age or time.
Oh, it isn't finished. It really isn't.
Take it easy, Adams. It's a great picture.
I've looked for you so often.
I had to see it, and I've just graduated from college, and...
Wonderful. Now we can be together always.
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to wait a little longer. You see, my aunt is ill, and she wants me to go away with her for the summer.
When do you have to go?
Tomorrow. I couldn't go without saying goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, it'll only be for a few months. Anyway, we have until the morning, and I think a little more.
Jennie, I'd be lost without you.
No, don't say that, Em. Can't both of us be lost. Look at the moonlight on the water. It makes a pathway across the river. The Jersey Hills are over there, aren't they?
In the distance. Now I feel it's another kind of distance, a crueler distance, a distance of yesterday and tomorrow, and it frightens me. It frightens me that there's no way to bridge it.
There is. At this moment, I know there is.
I don't want it to be forever.
It will be. Have faith.
There's something unusually brave about filming such an intimate scene like that so darkly.
Listen. The whole city's sleeping.
Yeah, that don't happen no more.
No one but us.
No one does.
Oh, heaven. Life's beginning again.
As my mother used to say, if you've got friendship in your heart, sure you don't... What was it my mother used to say?
What was it you wished to see me about?
Well, I wanted to ask you about a girl who graduated from here. Well, possibly you might have some information as to where she is.
I might. We often keep in touch with the girls after they leave. What was her name?
Jennie Appleton.
Jennie Appleton?
Yes. You remember her, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I remember Jennie very well. The last one she ever wrote to me. My dear Sister Mary of Mercy, we are returning very soon. The summer has been a very long and lonely one. How I want to see you again and sit and talk to you about all that has been worrying me. I know you tried to teach me how beautiful the world is and how it keeps on being beautiful every day, no matter what happens to us. But sometimes I have the dreadful feeling that this beauty will never be complete for me, that I will never find someone to love who will love me. It's a thought that terrifies me, dear sister, and I need your comfort and your wisdom to help me. I always offer my communion for Jennie on that day. I afterwards learned that Jennie was in the habit of sailing out every day alone to a little cove near an abandoned lighthouse.
Lancet Light.
During one of those trips, the waves struck. That was the last anyone ever saw of her.
Lancet Light. That's where I'll find her.
But Jennie is dead, Mr. Evans. You must accept that fact. Hard as
I
it
won't
may
accept it. Don't tell me she's dead. I held her in my arms 3 months ago, not 10 years ago. I love her. I want her back.
What vision has been vouchsafed you, I can't say. But don't doubt the ways of Providence. You must have faith. We know so little, so very little.
I don't mean to be abrupt, and I'm grateful for your kindness. When did you say that wave struck the coast?
October 5th.
And today is?
October 1st.
That leaves me 4 days.
But Mr. Adams, that October 5th was many years ago.
Are you so sure? You say we know so little. You say Jenny's parents were killed. I found her sobbing on a bench the night it happened. You say she was a student here. I visited her here. You say she went to New England with her aunt. I was with her just before she left. Then how can you say it all happened many years ago? Yes. We know so little. And yet now, I know a little more. I know now the pattern of Jenny's life. But I also know that I am part of it. She herself said the strands of our lives were woven together and that neither time nor the world could break them. This I have faith in. Thank you, Mother. I must hurry now.
Thank you for your friends. I remember. Because October 4th, my birthday. Today.
I'd like to get out to Land's End Light. You know where I can charter a boat?
Land's End Light. Can't think of any reason why anybody would want to go out there.
Never mind my reasons. Do you know someone with a boat?
Okay, so I have to talk about this scene. As you can see, the color has changed. When this scene played out in actual cinemas, it was a spectacle. Right around here, as you can see, it's 4:3 resolution. Right here, when this scene started, the curtains on either side of the screen came out, the screen widened, so this became a much bigger spectacle that enveloped the audience. The change in color, which I think was hand tinted, it might have been, yeah, but this storm scene was a true and beautiful spectacle, and sadly, the DVD doesn't do it much justice, and I don't know how they did the cloud effect for this, but this creeped me out like nothing else as a kid. There's just something so ominous about it. And I realize it's probably like a fog machine of some sort, the way that it's coming like this almost, but it just terrified the frick out of me.
It's been so long, Evan. Let me look at you.
Jenny, the wave is coming.
It's all right, whatever happens.
Whatever happens, it's you I want, Jenny, not just dreams of you.
Evan.
Please believe me. The wave will strike again and soon. We can have a whole lifetime
We
together.
have all eternity together, Evan. Can't you see? We were lonely, unloved. Time made an error. But you waited for me. And so we found our love.
Now we must lose it?
No, Evan. No, we're just beginning.
There is no life, my darling, until you are loved, been loved. And then there is no death.
Let's reach the lighthouse fast.
But you're fighting nothing, Eben. Nothing. Live on, Eben. But with faith.
There it comes!
Goodbye, my darling.
Jennie! Jennie!
Jennie. Hello, Adams.
What are you doing here?
Well, frankly, I was worried about you. I thought I'd come up and see how you were doing. Captain Cobb kindly let me visit you, so you see we're both his guests.
It's nice of you, thanks.
Oh, 'tain't nothing. But let me tell you, young feller, it's a mighty lucky thing you told Eke where you was aiming to sail for. It ain't likely we'd ever have been able to find you at all. No, sirree, Bob.
Did they find anyone else?
There wasn't nobody else darn fool enough to keep a boat out in that blow.
Where'd you get that scarf?
Yes. It was near you when they found you on the beach.
Yes, Benny. I saw Jennie again.
You mean this is Jennie?
It's all right.
Portrait of Jennie. Isn't she beautiful? I wonder if she was real. Oh, she must have been. Well, what does it matter? She was real to him or she couldn't look so alive.
How very wise you are.
Oh, Eben, is it really of me? I think someday it will hang in a museum and people will come from all over the world to see it.
But I adore this movie. Again, it was a childhood standard. My mother used to buy old movies at Bookman's in Tucson. Both Bookman's, actually. I think there were two when we lived there for the most part, and we went to both. Well, I'm not sure. I think there was just one, and then the second one had, just opened at some point. It was more new, I know that, but Bookman's was our go-to for getting old movies, and Portrait of Jennie is one of the ones we got on VHS because she grew up watching it on the television, and she introduced it to me, and it is one of my ultimate favorite movies, one of the most purest and gorgeous love stories, and probably the reason I have so many issues with romance to this day, because how do you beat that? The score with Claude Debussy's music rearranged and reconducted is amazing, and so sad that it is not professionally officially released, because it is such a quality production, and with his own blessing and actual permission, just making it even better. It should be redone following the arrangements from this movie. It would be gorgeous. It is a beautiful movie. And even though there are differences in the books, like Spinny has a much different role. She is not as sort of the all-seeing figure. In fact, some people, I remember back when IMDb still had its forums, there were some people who said that Spinny is so all-encompassing in the movie that it makes it seem almost as if she is somehow an older version of Jennie, which I completely dislike and don't want at all. No. But Spinny is a good character in the movie, down solely to the fact that Ethel Barrymore is playing her, and Ethel Barrymore cannot do a bad thing in her life. She was a superb actress. She played roles like this so wonderfully, so believably, and she's just wonderful. Jennifer Jones, of course, was amazing. Joseph Cotton is a stiff and steely actor, but it works very well in this movie. And it works in the other movies he did with Jennifer Jones, too. They have amazing chemistry. And yes, I just adore this movie so much. And I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, as far as watching the full thing, I know it's on DVD. I'm not sure if it's on like Google Movies or somewhere else, but I do think I saw it on Amazon, but it's not like on Prime, so you would have to rent it or buy it. Blah, 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 blah. And of course, remember, life only gets better as long as you work it brick by brick. Bye-bye. Zoop!